If everybody could mute. That'd be great. Good evening. Welcome to the Easthampton City Council meeting for Wednesday, September 22nd, 2021. The meeting tonight is being recorded and broadcast live via Easthampton Media on Charter Channel 193 and live streamed on Easthampton Media's YouTube channel. Thank you to Easthampton Media, as always, for bringing these meetings to all of us. All counselors and participants in this meeting are gathered remotely during the COVID-19 pandemic that seems to be going on forever under an executive order by Governor Baker that was extended to April 2022. I remind both the members of the City Council and of the public to remain on mute until recognized by the chair. Also, for members of the public, please remove your camera for the duration of the meeting unless you are participating in public speak or the public hearings. We will be having a public hearing at 6:15. So those who need or want to speak during public speak, if we go beyond 6:15, we will start when we complete the public hearings. So that's it. We are now called to order. Barbara, could I have the roll call?
Peg Coniff.
Here.
Salem Derby.
Present.
Erica Flood.
Here.
Omar Gomez.
Here.
JP Kaczynski.
Here.
Tom Peak.
Here.
Dan Rust. Lindsay Rothschild.
Here.
Owen Zara.
Here.
Okay, we'll now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 1st?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second to approve the minutes of September 1st. Any further discussion? Barbara?
Peg Coniff.
Yes.
Salem Derby.
Yes.
Erica Flood.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild.
Aye.
Owen Zara.
Yes.
Okay. We now have public speak. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on anything other than what is in the public hearings? You may now go ahead and down on the reactions line, there is a raise your hand button if you'd like to do that. I'm not seeing any.
Hi, Pecan. I'm trying to get my new, just won't switch. This is Julie.
Julie.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm trying to raise my hand, but
Okay, no problem, Julie. Go ahead and if you could please identify yourself, like your
certainly.
name,
Hi,
what precinct?
Julie Thomas from Precinct 1.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay.
So I just wanted to briefly just kind of address the last public safety meeting that was held on September 14th. That's the meeting where the committee had reviewed the final report from the mayor's pledge and gave its approval. I had attended the majority of safety meetings, and at times I spoke in support of the Easthampton Police Department, the unfounded and at times defamatory attacks made by others directed at the men and women of Easthampton Police Department. I also spoke of division and the need to come together and collaborate together. And up until the last safety meeting, I felt the lead of the meetings. Councilor Gomez facilitated these meetings fair and with such an unbiased manner. But it wasn't until the last meeting, Councilor Gomez's final comment that kind of struck me with much disappointment. He had thanked the community, saying that they had good sessions and learning experiences, listening to both sides. And he went on to say that there were passionate people from both sides, people who believe we should not have a police department, and the other side who feel the police were God. And he thought that the report represents both ways. Well, as someone from the latter, I would just kind of like to respond a little bit to Councilor Gomez's comment. It made me feel as if, as a community member, my comments were disregarded and as of no value. So no, I don't think the men and women of Easthampton Police Department are God. And yes, I support the Easthampton Police Department and believe that we are fortunate to have a department that is so good. I don't think any department is perfect, but I think what our department represents still is very good. So I just wanted to say that our officers go to work every day and they go with the first priority of safety and trust within our community. And they go to work not knowing really what the day will bring. So we need to keep that in mind. And I just wanted to give a little background that since July 2020, police officers killed have surged 28%. This year alone, there were 48 police officers killed in ambushes. And so far this year, a total line of duty deaths were 286 of the officers. And of those that died, 4 of them died by assault, 41 died of gunfire, 3 were stabbed to death, 16 were killed by vehicle assaults, and 10 were struck by vehicles. And that's just to name not even half of them. So these officers too left behind families and friends and children. And so when I support our police officers, I'm not supporting the bad police officers out there that happened to George Floyd. I'm not supporting them. I'm supporting our police officers. And I just wanted you guys to keep that in mind. And I think that an apology is owed. So thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Anyone else for public speak? Okay. We have public hearing at 6:15, but I will now entertain any communication from elected officials, boards, and committees. Anyone have anything to say from there? Omar, Councilor Gomez, sorry.
By the way, Omar is my name, but thank you. Gracias, señora presidenta, por esta oportunidad. And start in Spanish because since September 15, we celebrate the Hispanic Heritage Month. It's celebrated, right? And which lasts until October 15. In this month, the contributions that have made Hispanic in the United States. I would like to mention some Hispanic who have done great things in this country. Cesar Chavez, born in Arizona to Mexican-American family. The defining moment in Chavez's life came when his family moved to California during the Great Depression to become farm workers, cementing his fight for farmers' rights. Julia Alvarez, Dominican-American writer that has been enchanting readers with her words since early 1990s. Elena Ochoa. Ochoa was born in Los Angeles. Years after the paternal grandparents immigrated from Mexico, Ochoa made her mark by becoming the first Hispanic American woman to go to the space with a nine-day mission in 1993. Sonia Sotomayor, of course. I have to add a Puerto Rican one, right? Woman from Bronx, New York. Sotomayor became the first Hispanic American to serve as a member of the Supreme Court. And it's here some of the local Hispanic impacting in our community. We have Mr. Alvarez, he's a teacher in EHS. Ibeliz, that she works in the administration in the office at EHS. Liz Rodriguez, the owner of Easthampton Clay, and many more. And I will be missing so many names because I bet you we have a great Hispanic adding stuff in our community. These Hispanics every day pave the way so that we can walk through it. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for making me and making the path easier. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Councilor Gomez. Anyone else? I'm not seeing any hands. Oh, okay. Councilor Zaret. I'm not looking at the screen, just so you guys know. I'm looking at the list of people, which is on another screen, so I apologize. Go ahead, Councilor Zaret.
Thank you, President Conniff, and thank you, Councilor Gomez, for bringing that to everyone's attention. I appreciate the work you do and being your colleague. Just a couple quick announcements. I just wanted to give a shout out to a really lovely community thing that happened this last week. There was a constituent that reached out to a few people about a young person in our schools who is lacking appropriate transportation to school. They're working on some bus issues, et cetera. And this individual was using our Great Valley Bike Share bikes to get to school, but ran out of money to use those. And there's a wonderful individual named Robert Charland, or Bob the Bike Guy, who has a organization called Pedal Through Youth. Gail Cannon, who works with the high school, connected with me, and I reached out to Chief Alberti, who I knew was connected to Mr. Charland, and this young man was able to get a bike in 24 hours with a bike lock and a helmet, and is now at least able to get back and forth to school and not spending resources that he doesn't have on Valley Bike Share. And again, I think they're working on the bus. So that's just really wonderful community collaboration. There's ongoing Source to Sea cleanup this month. I know that a bunch of my colleagues participated in the cleanup before Mill Pond Live. This continues through the Connecticut River Conservancy. There'll be a cleanup this Saturday at 8 a.m. Over near Arcadia, Old Springfield Road, near the Hurlburn's Pond Bridge. It's the Easthampton Oxbow cleanup crew is the name. I'll send out an email later. Jeffrey Thielen is leading that group. And just on the topic of cleanup, as some of you probably know, there's a bottle bill currently at the State House that will increase deposits and expand what we consider depositable bottles, and also create deposits for nip bottles. So if you have a chance to advocate for that, please contact your state legislators. And I appreciate everyone who continues to collect and deposit nip bottles in our nip bottle collection bin outside of 50 Payson. That seems to be going well. So keep keeping our city clean. Thanks, President Conniff.
Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay. I have no announcements. Our vice president is not here. Is the mayor here? I think she had told me she'd be a few minutes late, so I don't think she's here yet.
I don't see her yet.
Okay. Well, then why don't we go ahead and start the public hearings a couple of minutes early. I'll take a motion to open the public hearings.
So move.
Second.
Motion second to open the public hearings. Any discussion? Barbara?
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski, Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Ted Coniff.
Aye. Public hearing is now open. We have 4 items to discuss. One item has 3 parts. So the first one is an interdepartmental transfer of $1. Well, Councilor Gomez, if you would please walk us through this complex math.
Thank you, Madam President. Basically, this is part of the budget. The library is based by a formula, and when they do the calculation, they was off by $1. But this at the end doesn't change anything at all. It's just $1 that we had to add, and it's pretty simple.
Do we have any questions of any counselor? Oh, we do have a question from Eric Poulin. Go ahead, Eric.
Thank you, President Conniff. I appreciate having this time. So, well, my name is Eric Poulin, Precinct 2. I am a professor of library and information science, and I'm very proud to have served in the past as the 101st president of the Massachusetts Library Association. So now, while on the surface, this seems like a very simple $1 appropriation, I think this provides the opportunity for us to have a larger discussion about what I think is actually a pretty concerning situation in Easthampton. Now, Councilor Gomez is correct. There is a formula for minimal municipal appropriation for library funding in order to stay certified with the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. Easthampton has historically, for as long as I can remember in all of my years here, funded our library to the absolute bare minimum to stay certified. In this case, we need one more dollar to stay certified. We don't ever fund it a dollar more. We don't ever fund it a cent more. The Board of Library Commissioners sets a very, very low bar for the financial responsibility for a municipality to stay certified with the state. So let me give you, and this information is from the most recent State Board of Library Commissioners report. There are 53 municipalities in Massachusetts that are between population size 15,000 to 25,000. Of those 53 municipalities, Easthampton spends per capita per resident 51st out of the 53 municipalities. Now, across the entire Commonwealth, there are 351 municipalities. Our per capita spending on library services, we come in 325th. Now, for a city that likes to fashion itself as thriving as a result of the creative economy and the knowledge economy, I don't think this funding reflects our priorities at all. And it's been said many times that a municipal budget should reflect the priorities of your community. And I think we have a really, really pretty wide disconnect here when Easthampton is claiming to be, like I said, a thriving community where creativity and knowledge-based, sorry, I'm at a quick loss for words, but where the knowledge economy is such an important thing for us. Libraries absolutely support the most at-risk members of our population, and they provide resources to people who otherwise would not have access to them. So I ask you all going forward in the future, please try to do better. It's absolutely essential that we have a strong library in Easthampton. And as we're funding it right now, we're literally just ensuring that the lights are on and the doors are unlocked. Thank you, President Coniff. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Eric. Anyone else? Okay. All right, any counselors? Counselor Kwasinski.
I just would like to thank Mr. Poulin for bringing to the forefront some very important statistics and information that I know I will ponder heavily, and I believe the other members of the council, if I could dare speak for everyone, I believe everyone on this council is very supportive of education and those who are at risk and value our library. So thank you for being there and for sharing those statistics.
Thank you. Anyone else? Not seeing any. Counselor Gomez, do you want to make a motion?
Yes. By the way, thank you, Eric. This is a motion. I move that the city transfer the sum of $1 for the reserve funds to library to correct their a rounding error in the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners calculations.
I'll second that unless it was possible to make an amendment. I would. I don't believe it's possible for us to amend the motion, so I'll second.
Okay, motion is second. Any further discussion? Barbara.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Aye.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next up is supplemental appropriations for Reservation Road and Main Street.
Okay, I'm going to start with the Main Street. We have request appropriation, the appropriation of some of $230,000 from the Cannabis Stabilization Funds. The Department of Public Works has contract the Warner Brothers Construction to pave Main Street from Park Street to the South Street. This project will include replacement of the drainage structure and the installation of the RRFB and main and industrial. The total cost of this contract is $1,003,350, from where $930,343 this cost being covered by the city chapter 90 funding for the fiscal year 21 and 2022. Basically, they're going to pave all the street, and they're going to use the funding from chapter 90 from the fiscal year 21 and 2022, And with the permission of the president of the council, we have Greg Norman here if he had to add something else for this.
Sure, go ahead, Greg.
Omar pretty much covered it. We had about a 70,000 or so shortfall in what we could fund with Chapter 90 and what we needed to do the entire stretch of road. The whole stretch of road needed to be done. And Mayor and I discussed, thought it would be a great opportunity to try to get more done than we could, than we were able to by looking to cannabis funding. And fortunately, we're able to pave all of Main Street from south to Glendale, catch basin replacement. I can tell you it's moving along. It's moving along well. And we're hoping to have the road milled the first week of October at this point. So that date could change, but it is project's moving along nicely. This funding is also going to cover police details for the work, construction oversight, and survey of the Main and South Street intersection. We're looking to take a harder look at that intersection with the new school coming soon to make it safer for pedestrian access and vehicle access to the new school.
Thanks, Greg. So just to clarify, so you're paving from South Street up to Glendale?
Oh, I'm sorry, from South
Up to
Street
the library, I thought.
up to the library. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Half of the project, we carried Glendale to the library as an ad alternate on the project. So I always screw that up.
No worries.
But we are doing the whole thing.
And in committee, we talked about the fact that this pavement is a 20 to 25-year life. Is that what we talked? Is that accurate, Greg?
Yeah, I would hope so. I think it should be, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep the road sealed and, we'll crack seal and keep it patched where needed to try to really get the value out of it for the city. I can't promise it, but I'd say we shouldn't be looking to do anything on Main Street again for a while.
And are we going to put in a flashing beacon at Glendale? Did I hear that in the meeting?
Yep, Main and Glendale, there'll be a rectangular rapid flashing beacon similar to the two we have on Cottage Street.
Okay. All right. Anything else from the public? Anything from the counselors? Oh, hang on. Go ahead, Shelby Donovan.
Hello, my name is Donovan Lee. I'm a resident of Ward 4 in Easthampton. And I just wanted to talk about what large sum of money of this project is going towards police detail to direct traffic for this. In Massachusetts, it is legal to have civilian flag people to direct traffic for this kind of construction work. And it's a lot more cost effective. And like you guys were just talking about, trying to go as far as you can with as little money as possible. It's a fiscally responsible way to bring down operation costs of constructions like this. Also, as someone that goes through quite a bit of construction for work, oftentimes driving large trucks or trucks with trailers, these construction can be hard to navigate with that kind of equipment, and the police are oftentimes either off to the side drinking coffee. There's multiple police officers just talking to each other. And there's construction workers who are doing the traffic directions. So I would just urge you to look into someone, getting civilian flaggers to do this to bring down the operations costs, and even, in my opinion, probably make it a little bit easier to navigate these kinds of construction, areas. Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley. Okay. Anyone from the council? Okay, not seeing any. Councilor Gomez, if you'd like to make a motion.
Yes, I will do it. By the way, thank you, Shelby, and probably that's going to be a discussion that we can have with Greg in the future. I move that the city appropriate the sum of $230,000 from Cannabis Stabilization Fund to the Main Street Capital Project to fund police detail, construction oversight, and survey, as well as the shortfall between the contracted amount and available Chapter 90 funding for the fiscal year 22 Main Street paving and drainage project.
Second.
Motion is second for the Main Street paving project. Any further discussion? Councilor Derby?
I just want to, echo what Donovan said. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. So I hope that Greg will have the opportunity to be able to look at how we detail this particular project. And if we can find some cost saving using civilian flaggers, I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Any other counselors? Any discussion? Okay, Barbara.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Yes.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood.
Aye. Motion passes. Counselor Gomez.
Yes. We have now, give me 1 second where I'll go to the documents. I'm here. All right. So we have four different motions. Some is for money, and the other one is to give the mayor the power of making an agreement. But I will start saying that for the past 6 months, the planning board has been assessing the potentially for the city, with its partner with Pat's Conservation Trust and Kershaw Trust to acquire 5.5 acres at the end of the reservation road. And an option agreement was prepared and signed by the owner to give the city additional time to prepare the grant application and secure the funding. The planning board, we are now seeking the authorization of the mayor to enter the agreement to allow the city additional time to secure funding for the acquisition. Two separate supplemental appropriation requests. One is for $245,000 and $412 for reimbursement through the land grant program, and $121,588 from the CPA. I'm pretty sure if we approve this and we got the grant, we're gonna get a reimbursement of the money, and that's gonna be $245,412. And I think we have the city planner Jeff back in the call, and with the permission of the president of the council, I want him to add anything else about this.
Go ahead, city planner Jeff Bagg.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Councilor Gomez, for the introduction. I really appreciate that. This information is in the September 1st packet of the city council. And I do want to lead with some really good news, which is that we learned yesterday that we got the grant. The land grant was announced yesterday, that we've been awarded the $245,412. So that is amazing. And, the grant administrator, I always ask, and they had previously kind of said, it's 100 days, 120 days from July. So we weren't really expecting this so early, but it's really with great pleasure that I can actually share with you that we've been awarded the grant. It doesn't change all that much. As Councilor Gomez introduced, there's two requests. The first one is in the amount of the land grant that we requested, and their expectation is that the city or town has this positive vote that the funds are available before we do anything. And so that's what we're doing tonight. And we have been to the Community Preservation Act Committee twice to talk to them about sort of the city's portion, which I'll use the rough numbers, which was 130. I don't have the numbers. It's on my other screen. But CPA has voted unanimously to approve those funds. And the way it works is the land grant covers 68% of the costs of the acquisition. So the city is paying the remainder. In quick summary, we've worked really hard. I do want to thank the landowner because through this series of events, the landowner, it came back to talk to us about, a conservation acquisition of this property. And so, that's there's some people here who might speak to this, but this property is important because it's been thought of as an important parcel for over 20 years. It's on the foothills of Mount Tom. It's in a really key area for the city. We recently updated our open space and recreation plan, and the area around and adjacent to Mount Tom is pretty much ranked one of the highest important areas for Easthampton to be focusing on. And so it is a complement to our other work. We acquired 23 acres farther down on East Street, and we're building a trail. This is a smaller acreage. It's 5.5 acres, and it will be preserved for habitat value, open space protection, and there's an opportunity for people to walk up Reservation Road and access Mount Tom. So there's more to this. There's details, and all that can be found in the packet. But I'm really excited to kind of be requesting this, the funds from the city. The 245 will be reimbursed. And then the other action is to seek, city council will authorize the mayor to enter into this option agreement. And it might sound like we don't need that anymore, but the reality is that this secures us 9 months to finish, some due diligence on the property, do maybe a survey and other things, and then come to closing. So we have some time built in, and so that's important. Kind of, it's an important step for the city to match the owners' willingness to do this. So I think maybe with that, I will either answer any questions or just yield to any public comment.
Councilor Gomez, I see your hand. You look like you want to say something. And you're muted.
I just find out that, yeah. Yes, I just want to ask to the city planner, Jeff Beck, if he can, and I do the same at the finance committee, the simple way to explain to our community why this is good for us to buy, for the community, the regular constituents in our city that is always asking why we should buy this or why shouldn't buy it, why this is good for the city to buy it.
Yeah, I covered some of it, but I guess I'll strengthen the idea that we have a document. It's called our Open Space and Recreation Plan, which is our guide for important areas for recreation or conservation. And the last plan was from 2014, and it also articulated the importance of Mount Tom, the foothills. So if you think of that area along East Street, that's a really important target area for Easthampton. This parcel is important because it was slated for development. And so, the urgency was there. And what we found through the process of going through due diligence is that it's really important for habitat for rare species. It's existing forested land that is important for climate change and resistance to climate change. And there was a lot of concerns about the potential to develop the land could have pretty substantial impacts on drainage and runoff down Reservation Road. And our zoning right now doesn't prevent the development. And so we see this kind of in urgency for this parcel. And then, the funding sources, that's one of my jobs, is to take projects or issues or concerns and line them up with appropriate funding sources. So the land grant, has this cycle. The land program is for this purpose, to set aside land that's important for habitat or open space. And so it's pretty targeted for this area. The other thing I did want to mention is that we are continuing to try to demonstrate that we are taking this area seriously and that we will meet property owners at the market value. Because we want to continue to preserve more land. There's a lot of unprotected land on the foothills of Mount Tom. And the last thing I'll say is the city has a really long history of doing this. There's a great other example on Hendrick Street, which also kind of borders the area between 141 and below. And over decades, the city acquired 183 acres in that area. And it's actually like a really important, it's a model area that many people have applied a lot of effort to do. So we're kind of looking at that focus in Mount Tom, and we're looking downtown or in the mills or other areas for more dense development. So that's a really key strategy, is we find development areas that are suitable, close to transportation and close to goods and services, and then we protect, the outlying areas. So that kind of fulfills, the general goals of our master plan and open space plan.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Councilor Peak.
Thank you, Madam President. I mean, Jeff just said a lot of the stuff I was going to say, but I guess the shorter version of what I had prepared to say was just that as the precinct 3 city councilor, when, the news of, this parcel potentially being developed came up, it was an extremely important thing to my constituents. I received about as much email about this as anything else that we've, addressed over the last year. So I was delighted when I saw that this was a thing that we could do. I really do believe that the mountain is maybe the singular greatest sort of like natural amenity that we have here in the city, and that there is sort of a feeling that it would be a huge loss to see it, sort of developed into something that wasn't, as ecologically important or as naturally beautiful, and that, again, like there would be runoff concerns for people in my precinct. So I really can't speak highly enough for this project, and just sort of to echo something that Jeff just said. I think that I've been working a lot on trying to work on making it easier for people to build much needed housing, along with many of you, much needed housing in the parts of Easthampton that are suitable for development. But I do think that there's the flip side of that, is looking at areas which either for ecological reasons or other reasons are not suitable for development, and working to protect those regions. So I think this is a great example of that, and I really can't endorse it any further.
Thanks, Councillor Peak. Councillor Flood.
I want to preface this with saying I do have a background in environmental science and ecology, so I absolutely see the importance of saving this piece of land. I'm extremely happy that Jeff informed us we got the grant. But I also want to say to my community members that I would love to see the kind of passion that everybody puts behind preserving green space to making affordable housing happen in Easthampton. We seem to be completely okay with seeing high value real estate disappear from Main Street and come off our tax rolls for Williston. Nobody says a word about that, but we fight hard to save these ecologically important spaces. So as we move forward as a community, I want to ask all of you who value the green space to please put some efforts towards valuing affordable housing parcels where we can build that kind of stuff for our neighbors that are in need. This is our senior community. These are our working families. Many of them, if you look at our housing production plan, are single parent households, and we need to do better on that front. So I just want to give a really big round of applause for everybody who worked on this, and just ask you to please pivot some of your passion towards that issue that's in dire need in our community as well. But congratulations for this win.
Thank you, Councillor Flood. Councillor Kwasinski.
Jeff, thank you so much for all the hard work you do to preserve the land here in Easthampton. I have always said that probably the single most important amenity that all of us share in the city is the view amenity we have of Mont Tom. That is the one thing that pretty much no matter where you are in the city, you can see. And that makes Easthampton very special. So kudos to the work we're doing to make that land preserved. Once it's developed, it's gone. It will forever be there, or be there for our lifetimes and our children's lifetimes for sure. So I think that's why we need to make that an important priority. We have, and I hear Councillor Flood, your remarks regarding affordable housing. You're right. Thank you.
Somebody is unmuted. Whoever is Mark's iPhone, if you could mute yourself, please, that would be helpful. Thank you. Okay, any other councillor who'd like to make a comment at this time? No? Anyone from the public? Not seeing any.
If I may, I would like to say a few words.
Who are you?
I am Donald Harbaugh from Reservation Road.
Oh, there you are, Donald. Sorry, I couldn't see you. I've got 2 pages of people, so I can't see you. Okay, go ahead, Donald. Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, President Coniff and council members. Thank you very much for this meeting and notifying and Jeff for all the work you've done in this wonderful news. I just wanted to say that there's a coalition of people who are strongly in support of this, as Thomas Peake mentioned, passionate about it. And the most recent, I just looked at the petition, has over 1,649 people who've signed in favor of adding this land to the city's holdings. And the reasons have already been so nicely summarized by the people who've spoken. You know, it is, of course, adjacent to, and we think of it as a part of Mount Tom. It's a part of critical habitat according to the state's biomap 2. It's a tremendously rich resource for a number of different wildlife habitat. It's a kind of an informal easement between the city and the state reservation, which many people use. As a resident on the road, I see people up and down every day who see tremendous value in this. And of course, during the pandemic, that's only been accentuated. And so there are several people I know at the meeting who have worked hard to help support this initiative. And thank you, Councillor Flood, for what you mentioned. We will not and should not forget the people in need of housing. Nonetheless, there are some people here who may want to add their words of support if there's time and interest in hearing them.
Thank you, Donald, and thank you for your passion around this, Donald. You were very instrumental in getting agreement from the folks who live in that area and working with Jeff. So thank you very much for your hard work. Katie Carr.
Hi, I'm Katie Carr. I'm a Ward 3 resident. I work in land conservation, and I know well the wildlife benefits of conserving land that abuts other conserved land to create corridors. I wanted to also mention that climate change and public access to open space are public health issues, and the city using funds to acquire this property would create safe pedestrian access. You can get to the mountain on sidewalks from the center of the city until you cross East Street and get onto Reservation Road. And you can also do it for free, which is a huge benefit. And I think the city acquiring this property would formalize this free pedestrian access to Mount Tom and make it a more well-known entry point. The only reason I knew that I could get to Mount Tom that way is because a neighbor happened to tell me a number of years ago. And it's been a huge asset for me, and I know for a number of my neighbors as well. And so I'm fully in support of the city using funds to acquire this. And I wanted to thank Jeff Bagg for his work on getting the grant. It's very exciting. And I also wanted to thank Councilperson Flood for their comments. Thank you.
Thank you. John and Greta Holbrook.
So I'm John Holbrook. My wife Greta is here. We are residents of Reservation Road and strongly support this grant, certainly for all the ecological reasons and the value to the community of the green space. But I think there are also some practical considerations. As the former Emergency Medical Services Committee and Commissioner of City of Springfield, I try and think how I walk up the Reservation Road every day, how an ambulance would get up there, how fire equipment would get up there in an emergency. It's very difficult it's hard to imagine how you could have adequate access to the upper portions of the land. And then as you increase the impervious coverage, the drainage coming down the mountain is already occasionally problematic when it rains heavily. A couple of years back, we almost had a glacier going down East Street. And I think the cost to the city of maintaining a road in the winter, going up that steep of a grade with the pitch on both sides going up and down, makes it really not very practical, I think, in terms of suitable for development. So I think there's, and then lastly, I guess people driving up thinking they can go all the way and then getting halfway up and trying to turn around, the traffic problems that would be caused if there were 5 building lots up there, I think are very significant. So I would support it both from a practical point of view, but also from the environmental point of view. We are strong supporters of that. And actually, our family is partners in preserving 11 acres almost next to that going up the mountain, the hayfield going up from East Street and up towards the water tank. And so we're already committed to preserving that area. And I think this is a strong step in that direction. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Peter Steinberg.
I am also, thank you. I'm Peter Steinberg. I'm also a resident of Reservation Road and want to thank the council and my neighbors, particularly Donald, for leading the initiative to raise awareness of this vital issue of trying to forestall the development on up above the area where our houses are. I just want to add that following up on John Holbrook's comment about the traffic going back and forth, there are a number of map apps that suggest that you can drive all the way up from Reservation Road to the visitor center on Mount Tom, when in fact there are barriers and a pretty washed out roadway that prevents people from driving up there. So I just encourage any of you who might be inclined to contact Google Maps or any of the other map apps that they need to correct and update their maps of Reservation Road so that people driving with their GPS aren't tempted to drive all the way up. And just also to echo what everyone else has been saying about the runoff issue, which is significant even without the development and the ability for emergency vehicles to access and turn around the upper portions of the road. It's absolutely vital that we keep the land undeveloped so that it can be preserved for the use of not only for people who live along Reservation Road, but for those who come to visit from within and outside the city. So this is excellent news for all of us. And again, want to congratulate everyone on the council and all of our neighbors for helping to make this happen.
Thank you, Peter. Anyone else? And second call for anyone from the council for any last remarks before we move to a motion. Okay, Councilor Gomez.
Thank you, Madam President. Before I make the motions, I want to say 2 things. The first one is that I missed that I didn't tell the council that we vote 2-0 at the finance committee to approve all these motions. And now we have 4 different motions. Should I just go one by one, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm gonna apologize if I mispronounce any of those words, all right? Because English is not my first language. I'm trying my best.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right, the first one. I move that the city appropriate the sum of $245,412 with no cents for the General Stabilization Fund for the for fiscal year 22 land grant Reservation Road for the acquisition of 5.5 acres for open space on Reservation Road, including closing cost and due diligence.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the appropriation of $245,412. Any further discussion? Barbara.
JP Kaczynski.
Yes.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild.
Aye.
Owen Zara.
Yes.
Peg Coniff.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Erica Flood.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The second one.
Next.
I move that the city appropriate the sum of $121,588 for the following: CPA reservation reserve for open space 80,000, CPA reserve fund for 41,588 to Reservation Road OS acquisition for the acquisition of 5 lots for open space protection, including closing costs and due diligence.
Second.
Motion is second for the CPA appropriation. Any further discussion? Barbara?
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
Motion passes. Counselor Gomez.
I move that the city council approve the following resolution. City council resolution. A resolution to file for, accept, and expend a grant from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, Division of Conservation Services, Local Acquisitions for Natural Diversity Land Grant Program to acquire the Reservation Road property. Whereas the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, Division of Conservation Services, is making funding available through the Local Acquisitions for Natural Diversity Program. Whereas the land program was established in 1961 to assist Municipal Conservation Commission in acquiring land for natural resources protection and passive outdoor recreation purpose. Whereas the permanent preservation of open space is a priority of the city of Easthampton, whereas the city of Easthampton has identified as assembly of 5 parcels consisting of approximately 5.52 acres of land described as Assessor's Map 147, parcel 33.2, parcel 33.3, parcel 33.4, parcel 33.5, and parcel 33.6, the Reservation Road property, which is seeks to acquire for the purpose of providing publicly accessibility protected open space in Easthampton. In accordance with both the city master plan and open space and recreational plan, whereas the city has negotiated a purchase price of $350.00 for the portion of the Reservation Road property, whereas the city believes $350,000 represent the fair market value of the Reservation Road property, whereas the city has project up $17,000 in additional project costs, in which $10,900.00 are eligible for reimbursement under the land program, whereas the city intends to submit an application to the EEA for the land grant to fund and reimburse up to $246,412.00, which represents 68% of eligible project costs. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor is hereby authorized to take such act and action are responsibly necessary to acquire Reservation Road property, that the mayor is hereby authorized appropriate for the Community Preservation Act funds, annual revenues, and available fund of necessary the sum of $121,588.00 in accordance with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 44, Section AC, and Chapter 44B, Section 11, and or any other enabled authority for the purpose of acquiring the Reservation Road property, that the mayor is hereby authorized and requested to file an application with the EEA for the land grant to fund and reimburse up to 68% of eligible project costs, that the mayor is hereby authorized to accept grant fund and execute contract and any amendment thereof, and to take such other actions as necessary in order to carry out the term, purpose, and condition of EEA DCS land grant program. And 5, that the Conservation Commission, with the mayor prior approval by authorized to enter into all agreement and execute any of instruments, including the convened or perpetual conservation restriction in the property to the Cultural Land Trust or any other organization qualified or willing to hold such restriction in accordance with the MGL Chapter 184 as required by Section 12A of Chapter 44B and Chapter 293, Section 10 of the Act of 1998 as amended.
Second.
Second.
Motion is second for the resolution to, is this for the authorization of the mayor? Is
No.
that what that one is? No,
No.
just,
No.
okay. Any further discussion? Barbara?
Lindsay Rothschild. Lindsay.
Yes.
Okay. Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Motion passes. Counselor Gomez.
I move that the city council authorize the mayor to enter into an option to purchase certain real property located at the end of Reservation Road, Assessor's Map 147, Parcel 33.2, Parcel 33.3, Parcel 33.4, Parcel 33.5, and Parcel 33.6, with Suzanne Scallion and Rosemary LePage Scallion pursuant to the term and condition of the document entitled Option to Purchase Agreement signed by the owner on July 14, 2021, attached here though, and incorporate herein.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second for the authorize the mayor to make this purchase. Any further discussion? Barbara?
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Yes.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild.
Yes.
Motion passes. And I think that's it for the public hearing. I'll take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to close the public hearing. Any further discussion? Barbara?
Peg Coniff,
Yes.
Salem Derby,
Yes.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Yes.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Yes.
Motion passes. Public hearings are now closed. All right. Thank you, everyone. That was very informative. Thanks, Jeff. I'm going to ask anybody with your camera still on who is not an elected official to go ahead and turn it off. You can certainly stay. We're just going to enter into our working portion of the meeting. So now we'll go to reports of standing committees. Finance, Councilor Gomez.
Before that, no mayor communication?
She's not here.
Yes, she is.
Oh, all right. Mayor, do you have any mayor communications?
Nice try, President Coniff. Especially on an evening that I actually do have mayor.
Well, you know, I do what I can.
How did you know? First, some quick quick notes. One, our auditor, Hadel Patel, passed her state auditor exam, one of only 13 throughout the Commonwealth, and was recognized by the Massachusetts Auditors Association at the Auditors Conference that just ended, and she's driving home. So very distinguished honor. There was a class of 58, only 13 passed, and Hadel was one of those. So we're very fortunate to have somebody so talented on board as an auditor. The COVID-19 free testing is going to happen this Sunday and next Sunday at the farmers market. You don't need insurance. You don't need anything. You just walk up, you get tested, and then they will text you. You have to give them a mobile phone, and they will text you your results in 2 days. So I did it this Sunday. Tuesday, I got my result via text, and it was negative. And I'll be going back next week as well. Testing is very important to trace where COVID-19 is in all of our communities, and it gives us more insight to how to mitigate. Along that matter, it was great to see folks wearing masks even outside, and I would remind folks that our numbers will go down with more mask wearing, and eventually giving us more opportunity to not wear masks. So please mask up, stay masked up. Well, actually, I'm going to hold that one. I do want to mention Notify Me, which is a service you can sign up for on the city website, easthamptonma.gov. And Notify Me is a service where you can get notified, literally text, about when agendas and meetings are happening for city council, DPW, for community events, for city-sponsored events, for flu clinics, and you can pick what you would like notifications for. They come out quite quickly. You can choose, I choose all of them, and also you can, you have to opt in, but you can also opt out of those text messages, depending on how useful you found the information. We would love, as many people as possible to sign up. We'll also be using this for another way to communicate road work when we have control over that. But would love community suggestions of maybe what other channels or streams we could notify me to. You cannot just opt into one and get all of them. That's the other thing I'll note. You need to pick by topic. It's very easy to do. Go to the easthamptonma.gov website. It opens on the left. There's a little button about that big. It says notify me. Click on it and it'll walk you through your options. So on that. And then I just wanted, I've gotten a couple of emails and questions from those on this body, but also the community around ARPA funds. There's been a lot in the news about what other communities are doing with the American Rescue Plan money. Just a quick cursory, I'm putting together a white paper of the steps when we know a little more about regulations and distributions, both internal and external. The city of Easthampton received directly, the city of Easthampton will get directly from ARPA $4.7 million. 1.6 million of those dollars is a local formula that we get because we're a city with 16 some odd people in it, and it also has weighting for poverty and disenfranchised population. So that's $1.6 million. The second bucket of ARPA money Easthampton will receive will be non-functioning county money. So Hampshire County doesn't have actual county government anymore. So each one of the municipalities in the county get extra money from, or get money, I shouldn't say extra, direct money from ARPA to our accounts, and that is $3.1 million. Those two, the money comes in at two times. There's two distributions. One is about now. We've received the first local payment of $828,000. It's in our account. We have not gotten the first part of our county money. We will get the second part of the city money in about a year, and the same with the county money. There's a year in between both of those distributions. The distribution will be informed in Easthampton by existing publicly created plans, like our master plan, our wastewater and storm plan, the open space and recreation plan, the housing production plan, the art visioning plan, the downtown strategy plan, the local rapid recovery plan, as well as other general fund items that were, and capital improvement items that were really out of our reach might be considered. The two other qualifiers there is, one, compliance with the federal laws and regulations as well as state regulations. We learned from CARE Act and FEMA in the first go round that those regulations and compliance requirements change in the middle of you spending that money. And that's one of the reasons why I'm using the publicly funded plans. It's well documented, and we have community backup of what they'd like, what we'd all like to see. They're prioritized, and we have an idea of the cost, so we can relate it back to our community and community need. A lot of the state and federal officials are counseling all municipalities to use them on transformative investments, not one-time spending. We're going to do a little bit of both, I think. And I say I think because we've hired a consultant who has 22 years of municipal planning and finance experience. And he will be taking all of the ARPA money, putting it into a large spreadsheet with prioritized projects, possible projects, and aligning that with ARPA money. But it's very important, I feel, that every dollar of ARPA is used to the best and highest standard, public standards. So into that spreadsheet or database will also be columns that will identify projects that maybe could be funded by, hold on a minute. I lost my, funded by FEMA, which money is still available, CARE Act money that could become available when FEMA reimburses CARES, cannabis money, free cash grants, and CPA money, as well as grants that are outside of just more typical grants like a MassWorks. And we're basically going to look at all of these projects, and the consultant will start weighting it. There will be projects that are because of COVID-19, but the expenditures are better attached to the regulations around cannabis than ARPA. So yes, I think we want to get the money on the street as soon as possible, but we want to do it with some measured thought to make sure the money is going to the best places possible, highest and best use. If there's any ARPA money we can leverage with any other money in our budget, we want to do that. And we want to create things that will have a long-lasting effect. The plan that I'm speaking about, once it's in writing, will be forward-facing on the website. And also there will be this spreadsheet or maybe database, I'm not sure what format is best, will be public-facing on the website and updated on a regular basis, depending on functionality. It could be once a week, it could be once a month, but it can be no less than once a quarter. So that, I wanted to share that one of the expenditures that we will be making with the ARPA funds, it will be broadband feasibility study, which is the next step to forming or actually putting in motion our municipal light plan. We've been doing the legal work around the municipal light plan for some time now, but we really need a feasibility study to figure out how much it'll cost and what it will cost. Is there a public appetite for municipal broadband on the prices that will come with the number of poles we have and all those other things that Tom Peake knows about. So that's an example where we can get rolling on ARPA funds. The last comment, this is a really good example, a big push for post ARPA spending. You have to know where you're spending it by 2024, you have to spend it by 2026, and then in 2027 you go into single audit to make sure you spent it the right way. The anticipation is starting in 2025 there will be requests for interest in shovel-ready projects. So spending money on the broadband feasibility study with ARPA sets us up for more money to build out broadband infrastructure. So we're doing a lot of this feasibility work to basically have projects in buckets. And we have some idea, watching the infrastructure bill going through Congress, what those buckets will be. Without doubt, broadband will be one of them. So it's just one example of how we would use the money and my approach to it.
Is that it, Mayor?
Yes, except for a thumbs back to Tom Peake. Oh, one more thing. Also, I've gotten a lot of, we've gotten a lot of questions. I know also members of the council have. So there is a severe busing and transportation shortage that goes from PVTA down to our school buses, down to special education transportation, where we don't have enough vehicles and we don't have enough drivers, especially with COVID and different regulations. There are many parents and students in the city who would like to opt into transportation or are qualifying for transportation. And we do not literally have enough buses for them because the companies don't have drivers. We are working very hard with our transportation companies in the PVTA to address this. And the school department has there's a meeting coming up before October 6th to really dive deep into this. We have additional concerns with the new school opening in the next year and a half, because we'll need more busing because of the location and the less folks will be able to walk to school. So I just wanted to put the word out on the street that this is really a national crisis. And we are both on city and state, city and school working towards it. Example of that is one of the city's outreach vans that we got for meals during COVID. It's a 15 passenger. The athletic director is using that to drive our students and our athletic teams to and from events. So we're all pitching in to make it work, but it's something we're going to hear more about, and the fixes are tough. I don't actually have one, so.
Thank you, Mayor.
I included.
Thanks, Mayor. All right, moving on then.
Madam President, JP have his hand up.
Okay, JP.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Thank you so much.
I'm
Madam
used to it.
I just wanted to congratulate the mayor on her hard work here, and especially with the ARPA money and the broadband, and throwing a kudos to Councilor Peak for his hard work on this project along with his committee. Thank you so much. It's great to hear.
Thank you.
So I guess I do have to give equal time to any other counselor who would like to ask any questions of the mayor. Sorry, I'm jumping the gun here. All right. Now we're going to move into finance. Councilor Gomez.
Thank you, Madam President. By the way, you give me a work to do, and I did.
I know. Doing a good job.
So we basically cover all businesses, but I want to start our next meeting is going to be September 29th at 5 p.m. We went to all businesses, I'm pretty much sure, and about the COVID funds. Thank you for the mayor. She covered that for me. I will appreciate that. And we have some new businesses that I will ask Madam President if I can do all at the same time, at least someone else, someone of the council believe that we shouldn't move it to the finance committee.
Well, here's the deal.
Okay.
And Barbara, you can correct me. Dan does a first reading on each of them individually. Can we do that and then move them as a group?
Yes, and even schedule public hearings all at once.
Okay, so Omar, if you could read each one as a first reading and then make the motion to move them to committee.
Okay. All right. For the amount request of $49,586.95 to be transferred from the PEC access account, $49,586.95 to the transfer to PEC access account. The amount request will be used for the following purpose: $49,586.95 to give approval to the spend from the PEC access receipt reserve account for the cable related purpose consistent with the franchise agreement.
Sorry.
Can I keep going?
You please.
Okay. Amount requested $4,900 to be transferred from 87 Cannabis Stabilization Fund to be transferred to equipment $4,900. The amount requested will be used for the following purpose: the fund that required match for 19,000 AFG grant to replace all outdated hose and nozzles, as well as purchase a hose rack to keep the spare hose on. The second one, the third one, request for the city's pay to change the scope of CPA funded project at Old Town Hall. The next one, amount request $13,995.24 to be transferred for cannabis stabilization funds to be transferred to the FEMA AFG new ambulance $13,000 $13,095.24. The amount request will be used to the following purpose. This fund will be used as part of the required match for the federal grant in the amount of $261,904 for the purchase of the new ambulance. And we'll make a motion to move that to the Finance Committee.
Second.
Motion second to move the appropriations, transfers, and the relook at the Old Town Hall CPA distribution of funds to the Finance Committee. Any further discussion? Barbara.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Aye.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
and Peg Coniff.
Aye.
And should I make a motion to set a public hearing for October 6th for these appropriations?
Yes. Yep.
The motion to move, to have a public hearing at 6:15 on October 6th for these appropriations.
Second.
Motion second to set a public hearing for 10/6 at 6:15. Any further discussion? Barbara.
I just want to clarify, I think it's just on the financial things, not on the CPA, correct?
Yeah, just the financial.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
Okay. Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Yes.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Is that it, Councilor Gomez?
That concludes.
Madam President,
Yes.
I
Councilor
think,
Barrett.
I think the pay plan belongs to you all too.
No, it does not. That's going to be an ordinance.
Okay.
Historically, that does go to finance.
Yeah, I
does?
checked. If you look, I.
Okay, that's
But what-
fine.
but
That's
we're-
fine. No problem.
Salem, would
Go
you like
ahead.
it?
I thought we were gonna set, don't you guys do pay plan?
Oh, it's actually part of the rules that it goes to finance. I thought it would go to ordinance originally
This
too,
is
but
why
I
we need
reviewed it.
Councilor Riss.
Yeah,
Okay.
historically, it does go to finance.
All
Yeah.
right, then we'll just add it to our list. Why don't you go ahead and move these as well?
Okay, let me found the.
Well, now we gotta really work, Councilor Gomez.
I found it.
No,
Okay,
I mean, you and I.
Yes, yeah, we have a lot of stuff to do. So I will make a motion to move to the Finance Committee to amend Chapter 7 to add the following position to the classification and pay plan. Community Social Worker at grade F, Information Technology Director at grade H, change pay plan grade for Public Health Nurse from grade E to grade F.
Want to just move all of them? There's 3.
I think I say all 3.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yes.
Second that.
Wow. Okay, motion is second. Any further discussion? Barbara.
Who seconded that? Sorry, I missed it.
I did.
Okay. Okay, Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Yes.
Okay.
And that concludes.
Wow, we're gonna have a long meeting on October, whatever, September 29th. Okay. That is it. Public safety, Councilor Gomez, anything there?
Me again. Thank you, Madam President. First, I wanna, do I need the extension for the Mayor's Place remain policing even when we are done with it and we're gonna present it for the next council?
Yeah,
or
because you do,
it
because
expire?
it's gonna expire, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna ask for both. I'm gonna do it at the same time. I'm gonna act 90 days, but we're gonna end with that one. I'm gonna ask for 90-day extension for the Mayor's Place remain policy report and to the request of the review of safety of the sidewalks on South Street and Main Street intersection.
Second.
Second, motion and a second for a 90-day extension on both of the items in the public safety agenda. Barbara.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Aye.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff.
Aye. Okay.
So for the intersection and Main and South Street, we still, we brought the DPW director, Greg, and the city planner, Jeff, back to talk about it, to see what we can do in the future. One of the things that we approved tonight is money to do a survey, and that we're gonna wait until the survey came out with the results, so that way we have a better idea what we can do in that intersection. So we're gonna keep it in the agenda. About the report. Thank you, Julie, for being in that many public safety committee meetings. I have to say that I'm going to repeat it tonight. At the meetings, we have basically sometimes two groups, right? And I think the report represent what we saw at the whole meetings from 4 groups and the people who was in the middle. And the people who's in the middle is one of those guys, me. And I'm gonna do this for disclosure. My dad was a state police. One of my best friend, dad, he was a state police too, and he got shot. And one time that he responded to a call. So I know both sides too. We finished the report. I'm really happy with the report. I'm really happy with the response for the public coming to the meetings and tell us what they believe and what they think about the report. And I didn't include it in this package because there was a lot of stuff in this package that I don't want to give you overload. But I'm going to send it to every single consult tonight, so that way you have enough time to read it, to evaluate it, and if you have any questions, so the next meeting we're ready to answer anything you guys have. And again, I thank you for the other 2 counselors at the committee, because I think this report represent what we saw and what we read in those meetings. Thank you, and that concludes. Oh, and our next meeting is going to be October 19 at 7 p.m.
Okay. Thank you.
That concludes.
Thank you, Councilor Gomez. Appointments, Councilor Rothschild.
Here I am. Okay. Just a second. So we had 2 appointments at our last meeting that we went over. Steve Litwin, and he attended. He was up for the Board of Public Works. He has had a long career in safety, and he's retired now, and he wants to contribute to the community. And I think we're lucky to have him on the Board of Public Works. The other one was Caitlyn Treitz. She did not attend, but she sent us answers to the questions, and she is a lifelong resident of Easthampton, and she has problem-solving skills. She likes to manage projects, be creative. She has young children. She has spends a lot of time on the rail trail and has some ideas of how to elevate it from where it already is, which is beautiful and great asset. So I know that the Manhattan Trail Committee needs more people. I saw them at the committee fair. I saw one of their members, and she was saying they need more people. So I'm glad that Caitlyn is up for joining them. So I move to confirm the following mayoral appointments. Steve Litwin to the Board of Public Works with a term expiration of 12/31/2021, and Caitlyn Treitz to the Manhattan Rail Trail with a term expiration of 12/31/2022.
I'll second.
Motion is second for the 2 mayoral appointments. Any further discussion? Barbara.
Erica Flood.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski. Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Yes.
Peg Coniff.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Great. Now I move the following mayoral appointments to the appointment committee. Steve Litwin to the Zoning Board of Appeals with a term expiration 12/31/2021. Cindy Terrell as the Council on Aging Director with a term expiration 10/06/2023. BJ Church as Building Commissioner with a term expiration 10/06/2023. And Laura Fisher as an alternate to the Agricultural Commission with a term expiration 12/31/2022.
Second.
Motion is second to move 4 mayoral appointments to the appointment committee. Any further discussion? Barbara.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Yes.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Yes.
Peg Coniff.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Erica Flood.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, our next meeting is Wednesday, October 13th at 4 p.m. We are going to try to always have a meeting on the second Wednesday at 4 p.m. I know Lindsay Mailer asked, she tries to make the process as clear as possible to people in the process. So maybe for the flow chart that will help for now, second Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Appointment committee, and thus concludes.
Thank you so much. Ordinance committee, Councilor Derby.
Thank you, Madam President. So we met last week and we discussed some of our new affordable housing amendments and briefly discussed the straw amendment and new information that has come to us as well. So we are going to be meeting next Tuesday, the 28th at 6:30. At 6:30, we're going to be meeting with some members of the EDIC to discuss some of the issues that they wanted to discuss with us. And so we're reserving the first 30 minutes of the meeting for that. At 7 o'clock or shortly after 7 o'clock, we're going to, I've invited members of the Council of Disabilities to come and give feedback on the revised straw language and the new information that we've received. I don't know if anybody has had a chance to read the straw report that Councilor Zarrett put together, but it is worth reading. It's a lot of information, but it's definitely worth reading. And so anybody that's interested in the straw issue should please come at 7 o'clock next Tuesday, the 28th, because that is where we're going to be talking about that particular issue. So if you're interested in that, then please come. And I believe we don't have any new business. So unless my colleagues can remind me that I missed something, that would conclude.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Derby. Property, Councilor Zarrett.
No report.
Okay. Rules and Government Relations, Councilor Peak.
Thank you, Madam President. We met a couple days ago, Monday, and we discussed two resolutions. One regarding the decriminalization of therapeutic psychedelic plants, which was a fascinating discussion with a lot of really interesting, passionate people. And the other was the climate emergency resolution. We voted 2-0 to accept or to recommend both of those resolutions. Tonight, I wanted to invite Councilor Derby to read the climate emergency resolution and for us to vote on that. I would like maybe at our next meeting to do the one on the decriminalization of therapeutic psychedelic plants. And the main reason is that it's sort of complex. There was some discussion in the meeting about potential amendments. And I just wanted to give Councilor Zarrett a chance to sort of submit or circulate the final draft that we worked on. I would do it myself, but it was on his shared, he was the one sharing the document from his computer, so that everyone can take a look and just if there's any questions, we can, people can have a time to digest all of that before we discuss it. We did not discuss the remaining thing on our agenda, which is the Rule 20 thing. And the basic reason for that is that's about remote participation. And so long as we are remote and don't have sort of any immediate plan to not be remote, and sort of the technological structure of how we would return is still not 100% nailed down. I just feel like that's something that maybe there's some unknowns that need to get answered before we can really discuss that in earnest. So with that said, Councilor Derby, would you like to read your
absolutely
the resolution?
Yeah, thanks so much, Councilor Peak. And just to preface, I don't want this to just be a ceremonial reading. I think that I'm hoping that the other councilors would agree and would, support the fact that, climate change is a pressing emergency that we need to deal with. And as we move forward as a city, we need to be using our voice and our legislative power to really start hardening the city and start preparing for what the future is going to bring. So I'm hoping that this is going to be an affirmation of our support to really start working towards preparing the city for the future that we're living in right now. So with that, I will read the resolution as I pull it up here. So, and I'm sorry, it's kind of long, but this is important. So a resolution declaring a climate emergency. Whereas in a world facing the extreme challenges of rapid climate change, Easthampton residents understand the importance of protecting the earth and its inhabitants, can envision a better, sustainable future, and create and execute bold plans for a prosperous economy and a thriving community. And whereas progress towards this future is underway in Massachusetts, which is among the national leaders on climate initiatives with over 100,000 jobs in the state's clean energy sector and named a top energy efficient state for the past decade by the American Council for Energy Efficient Economy. And whereas national security experts agree that climate emergency is a threat multiplier contributing to the Earth's sixth mass extinction of species, and the present level of global warming has triggered catastrophic changes to the Earth's system, including increased wildfires, heat waves, droughts, flash floods, rising seas, and extreme weather, and continued global warming could further intensify the melting of the glaciers, polar ice sheet collapse, accelerating sea level rise, superstorms, hurricanes, mosquito-borne diseases, water and food shortages, and civil unrest. And whereas Easthampton has an engaged city government and has undertaken a number of important steps on climate and the environment, such as the Easthampton Closed Landfill Solar Project and Green Community Designation, such that the city is well placed to implement the critical transition away from fossil fuels to advance a robust, carbon-free, equitable economy and the improved health and quality of life that will result. And whereas on April 22nd, 2016, world leaders from 175 countries recognized the threat of climate change and the urgent need to combat it by signing the Paris Agreement, agreeing to keep warming well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And whereas marginalized populations in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and worldwide, including people of color, immigrants, indigenous communities, low-income individuals, people with disabilities, and the unhoused are already disproportionately affected by climate change and will continue to bear an excessive burden as temperatures increase, oceans rise, and natural disasters worsen. And whereas nearly 400 cities, districts, and counties across the countries across the world, collectively representing over 34 million people, have recently declared or officially acknowledged the existence of a global climate emergency, including over 20 Massachusetts cities and towns such as Boston, Lexington, Acton, and 11 towns on Cape Cod. And whereas declaring the climate crisis as an emergency is a crucial first step for aligning residents around the urgency of the global climate breakdown. And whereas building a society that is resilient to the current, expected, and scientifically predicted effects of climate change will protect health, lives, ecosystems, and economies. And such resilience efforts will have the greatest positive impact if the most dramatic potential consequences of climate change are taken into account. Whereas declaring that the climate crisis is an emergency demonstrates that our government agencies acknowledge that addressing climate change will require emergency response at emergency speed. And whereas the crisis caused by climate change also presents a major opportunity to invest in the healthy energy, transportation, land use, and agriculture systems that will deliver both immediate and sustained benefits to all and reduce future risks from climate change. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the city of Easthampton declares that a climate and ecological emergency threatens our city, state, region, nation, civilization, humanity, and the natural world. Be it further resolved that the city of Easthampton affirms that human activity caused the climate crisis and that overuse of fossil fuels and the lack of understanding of other fundamental causes of climate change are the primary cause. Be it further resolved that the City Council of Easthampton hereby declares that a climate emergency threatens our city and humanity broadly, and that a mobilization to meet this challenge is both a moral imperative and an unprecedented opportunity to stabilize the climate, remedy environmental harms, create clean energy jobs, and improve human lives. Be it further resolved that the members of the Easthampton City Council call on city government and staff and all Easthampton civic groups, businesses, and residents to commit to a climate mobilization effort to bring net citywide attention to all the efforts needed to reach a sustainable course for the city of Easthampton, including reaching net zero emissions, protecting natural habitat and open space, minimizing the waste stream, moving away from fossil fuels, and the impact of diet and food choices on the climate. Be it further resolved, in furtherance of this resolution, the clerk of the Easthampton City Council send a copy of this resolution to State Representative Dan Carey, State Senator John Velas, Congressman Richard Neal, and request that all possible support and assistance in effectuating this resolution be provided.
Second.
I don't think that was a motion yet, was it?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I will make a motion to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Approve the resolution.
I will approve that resolution in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion second to approve the climate emergency resolution. Any further discussion? Counselor Zarek.
I wanted to thank Councilor Derby for bringing this forward. I think the city, fortunately, is already heading in a good direction. We just had a very lively discussion about solarizing the city with the Honeywell contract. I think that's a step. We need to completely reduce our emissions. I really appreciate that the councilor who brought this forward has been a pioneer in reducing carbon emissions in the city, with ordinances around things like hybrid cars and electric cars, and has historically embraced language that has brought us to a more ecologically friendly and a more climate friendly city. This is why I think we're all need to be, this is the type of resolution where I think we all really need to embrace it and think about what kind of things we can bring forward to actually walk the talk, as it were. As I think someone described Councilor Derby's actions historically recently. This is why recent things like reducing single-use plastics and picking things up, and having things like a nip bottle bin in front of City Hall, reevaluating our solar ordinances, preserving green space. We're doing all these things, but it's still not enough, because climate change happened yesterday. It's not happening tomorrow, and we're way behind on doing anything to fix it. So I think, I believe at least that my colleagues on the council wholeheartedly embrace these values and this challenge that Councilor Derby has set forth. I'm certainly happy to work with any and all of you on legislation that has teeth to make this work. So again, thank you, sir, for bringing this forward. And obviously that was a wholehearted endorsement of this. So.
Any other comments? Barbara.
JP Kaczynski,
Yes.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Yes.
Peg Coniff,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. And then other than that, I think we have a bit of new business, which is something that I've always been really excited to work on because it's a personal interest of mine, which is precinct redistricting. So I would like to make a motion to move the precinct redistricting due to the 2020 federal census to rules.
Second.
Motion second to move the precinct redistricting to the Rules Committee. Any further discussion? Barbara.
Lindsay Rothschild.
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilor Flood, just reminding you, you can only speak to the motion, not to the topic. But go ahead, Councilor Flood.
Never mind. I'll save it for the next meeting.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Okay, where were we? Had we started, Barb? Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess Lindsay Rothschild.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Yes.
Peg Coniff.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Erica Flood.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kaczynski.
Yes.
Tom Peak.
Aye. And thus concludes.
Awesome. Okay, so we have a couple of ad hoc committees. I don't know if there's anything new with ranked choice voting, Councilor Peak.
Sure. We are working on finalizing the details of a mailer that's going to go out. I don't believe that there's any races that are going to have more than 2 people, but our city does allow the use of ranked choice. There's going to be a
mayor.
Oh, they got in the last second. Okay, well then it's important that we do this. Someone got in right after me, I guess. Jeez.
Are you running for mayor too?
No, but I thought I was the last person to possibly hand in my signature and that nobody could possibly.
Not quite.
All right, well, what do you know? Anyway, so then it's pretty important that we know how to do this. So there's going to be a mailer going out about it. That we're finalizing the details on that and talking about some other potential, maybe some Zoom meetings that we could do in terms of sort of civic engagement. We've had a few people from the schools and the Council on Aging show up at meetings and give their thoughts. So at this point, it's really more about just making sure everyone, like, we've got the ordinance done. We're really just in engagement and education mode. But yeah, that's all that we've got right now.
Okay, great, thank you. I don't think there's anything with senior tax work-off, at least unless you've been meeting in private, Councilor Krasinski. Hang on, Councilor Gomez.
No, there's no meetings. However, there is a quick update. Wanted to say that there were at least a dozen different positions that were put together from the city among at least 4 departments. And people are starting to get out there to do some work. So we'll have further report later. Thank you.
Awesome. Councilor Gomez.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to ask if for the ranked choice voting information, it's going to be a way that we can have it in different languages, probably in Spanish or any other language, because our population here in Easthampton, especially the Latinos, are growing. And I think it's really important for our community to understand the process in their language too.
You're on mute, Tom.
I'll need to double check. I don't have it in front of me, but I do believe that we have something saying like for this in a different language, go to this address or something. I'm trying to remember exactly how we were going to do that. But yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
That's a good thing to keep in mind.
Okay, Councilor Flood.
Also, just want to encourage the use of Easthampton media as a vehicle for getting that out. And I don't know if the committee would like some help in creating some sort of video. I would volunteer to meet with you guys. But I think for some of us who are visual learners, I happened to wander into Barbara's office and seeing her watching a video, and I kind of got mesmerized. But it seemed to be very helpful. So I just want to lend my assistance to the committee in pulling that together. I am a member of Easthampton Media, so I have access.
Sure. Well, we're meeting next week, and I definitely, if you'd like to swing in and discuss that would be
If it's
amazing.
appropriate at that time, sure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, Ordinance Review Committee, Councilor Rothschild.
We are having our final meeting on September 28th at 7. And at that point, we have our we have the draft of our final report, and we're just gonna see if there's any other input before then and vote to approve it that evening.
Okay.
That's it. That concludes.
Wonderful, thank you. We've done new business, old business.
Peg.
Oh, what did I forget? Oh, the conflict of interest, right, from Jess Allen. Is there anything we need to do there, Barb, other than
Prove it, and
acknowledge
then
it?
you've got to sign it.
Oh, so so you'll send something to us?
It's right in your agenda. You need to approve her request for the exemption.
Oh, so you have
And
to
then-
visit, oh, okay, that was my question.
Yep.
Okay, so we have to approve her conflict of interest?
Yep. You did it for Jana from the Housing Partnership not too long ago.
Okay.
as well.
And what we're approving is that she has checked with what, the state ethics and has cleared it with them?
That she is disclosing her her interest, and that is not so substantial that it wouldn't prevent her from serving on the CPA committee.
Okay, I didn't think we voted on that stuff, but okay.
Did, because you have to sign off on it. I'll send it to you, don't worry.
I'll talk to you offline about it. Okay, so the approval of the conflict of interest disclosure from CPA member Jess Allen. We need a motion on that?
Yep.
I will
Just say so moved.
So moved.
Okay. Okay, motion is second on the conflict of interest disclosure. Any further discussion? Okay, Barbara?
Owen Zaret?
Yes.
Peg Coniff?
Aye.
Salem Derby?
Aye.
Erica Flood?
I'm going to abstain out of a bit of confusion.
It's all in your packet. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading it. But I still, I'm just gonna
Very
abstain.
last page.
I'm looking right at it.
Can we clarify something for you, Councilor?
Well,
Swift?
I mean, I understand she's cleared it with ethics, but she does work directly for Valley Community Development. And so would she be abstaining from any voting that might put money in their direction that would fund her salary? I guess the ethics piece is where I'm not quite sure.
Point of order, we're voting. Should we be going back and forth on this?
Yeah, I wasn't trying, I mean, you're asking
I
why I'm
just wanted to
abstaining, so I
clarify.
was just trying to
Fine.
clarify.
Okay.
Point of order.
Councilor Kwasinski.
May I suggest the pass for Councilor Flood for the moment until others have an opportunity to vote? She may have finished her reading by then.
Well,
I've read
she's
it.
opted to abstain.
Yeah, I've just opted to abstain.
Okay. Sorry, Barbara, go ahead.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski,
Aye.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild.
Hi. All right, that's it. Any further discussion? Barb?
I'm sorry, can I just ask?
We only got 4 more meetings, guys. We're gonna make it. Go ahead.
Okay. Tom, you were saying about the therapeutic drug thing. Are you planning to bring that up for a vote at the next meeting, or or not?
Yes,
just
but
wonder.
yes, I'll be bringing it up for a vote.
You-
Yes.
Even though it's the big, okay.
I mean, maybe if we don't want to, it doesn't require a public hearing or anything. So
No.
if
Okay.
if it's the end of the night and it's way too busy and we don't have the energy for it, I can just not
Well,
move on it till the next one. But
Well, it's just if people are interested in being there, they should know if it's going to be brought up or not. Just
yeah.
thinking about.
Okay, are we done?
Okay.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Second.
Second, any discussion? Barbara?
Peg Coniff,
Yes.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Erica Flood,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kaczynski, Tom Peak,
Aye.
Lindsay Rothschild,
Okay.
Owen Zaret.
Word. Yes.
Okay, bye, everyone. Thanks.